I skimmed through it.
Okay, I'll give a couple of minutes to kind of look over it.
I left my readers in the car.
Are you gonna do roll call?
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I was just giving you guys a few minutes to read over your packet. Okay, roll call. Ms. Jennifer?
Here.
Mr. Dwayne? Here. Charlene?
Here.
And I'm here. And Keely will be late in case there is this wall turns out this wall. Okay. We don't have no,
There's no public comment.
okay. Okay, is there any additions, deletions to the agenda?
In honor of Charlene Kingsley at 6 o'clock, we now have all of the records from the land, the 2 ladies that were here at the last meeting on High and Second Street, but I'm just gonna table this because of time constraints.
Okay. Yeah, we'll table it for our next meeting. If we have to have a special meeting or whatever, we can discuss that.
So other than that, I have none for additions or deletions. That was the only thing.
So what, I'm sorry, say that again, there was the which property, the three?
So the 315 High, which neighbors are 301,
Oh, okay.
303, 307, 309.
So that's item E8E?
yes,
Okay, so we're gonna take 8E and F off for now?
for now,
Okay, and table it until the next meeting?
yes.
Okay.
Is everybody ready for the packets?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, let's,
Go ahead.
I'll wait until we have a motion second. I just have,
Okay, but I need a motion to accept the minutes from our previous meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Second,
okay. And I don't know if this is the right place, right time to voice this, but I received this information yesterday via computer, and it's 129 pages or 39, something like that. That's too much information to digest in less than 24 hours. I would like to see if we could have this information to us by 7 to 10 days before a board meeting.
Agreed, Dwayne,
And
absolutely.
it's too much information to go through, even though the majority of it is a financial statement, but there's just a lot of information to ask that we have.
Agreed, and with this one, there was extenuating circumstances. When I went to, I was gone last week to Cleveland. And when I got back figuring that I would have everything, the financials that we had were not for Trinidad, Colorado from our fee account, they were for Trinidad, Texas. So that didn't, the holdup was trying to get the Trinidad, Colorado financials.
Okay.
And they were late arriving, so that is why, yes, they were extremely late, through no fault of ours. But yes, I agree. More time is much appreciated.
But I think even if we get everything but the financials, because if there's no like red flags on the financials, then that's even easier, so.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if those are the only holdup, if we could get everything else, because I know our financials come from somebody else and that sometimes it's not up to us, or up to you whether or not you get them.
Yeah, I
it
can
was a lot.
absolutely do that. I can
Yeah.
absolutely get, if I don't have the financials 7 to 10 days before, I can certainly
Yeah.
forward what I have.
Very good.
Okay, number 5. Financial review.
Can we circle back?
Okay,
We have a
fine.
motion to accept the previous
Oh,
meeting,
sure.
and
Okay.
and I seconded, but it wasn't carried.
Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Okay, carried. Okay, on the financial review, is it all right if we all do it, read them all out, and vote on them all at one time instead of individually?
Yes.
Okay, financial review and approval of the THA low rental, April through May, financial statement and bank reconciliation. Review and approval of HCBP Section 8, April through May of 2024, financial statement and bank reconciliation. C, review and approval of management funds, April through May, financial statement and bank reconciliation. D, review and approval of Coronado Square, April through May 2024, financial statement, bank reconciliation.
Is there anything of note that, April to May that,
There was nothing out of the unusual or customary for those 2 months, for any of our accounts.
I'll make a motion to accept the financial statements.
From A to D.
Yes, from A to D.
I need a second on that.
I'll second.
Okay. All approved? Chris, Jennifer,
Yes.
Dwayne, Darlene?
Yes.
Okay, Keely is on.
Welcome aboard, Keely. How's your mother doing?
Hannah. Can you hear us, Keely? Keely, can you hear us? Keely, can you hear? Keely, can you hear us? I don't think she can hear us. Keely, can you hear us? Keely? Keely, can you hear us? Do you see us? Can you hear us?
Have you been having those homeless meetings during the summer? Because I hadn't seen anything.
We had the executive team meeting in, one of them in May, I want to say.
Keely, can you hear us at all?
But this is the larger group, so you did get it?
Yeah.
Okay, good, because I didn't get it back.
That's This is on
The 20th,
next weekend.
Tuesday.
Okay.
Space to create. And I'm hoping that Billy from the state has been helping us. Will be there on Zoom, at least for the first part of it. I just did yesterday presented at City Council's work session on some of the homelessness issues that we're experiencing. I think it was well received.
She can't hear us, so she's gonna call my cell. Text with Hayden and the rooms if you can choose speakers.
Yeah, we have the same issue 2 out of 3 times whenever we use, in our morning meetings, we never have a problem, but after that, and so we always set it up about 15 minutes and have a dummy in our building, make sure everything, microphones work and everything.
Keely, can you hear us on my phone?
I can.
Okay. I've texted Hayden, our IT person, to see if he can come over and troubleshoot what the speaker, issue is. So, I have about half my power, so if my cell phone just dies, hopefully by that time Hayden will be here. So,
Okay.
to catch you up to.
Yeah, it might be I saw that you were muted.
And I've unmuted, so I don't quite know what the issue is.
I can see you and I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, good.
Can we move, and I don't want to like do this, but I just got the text. Is there anything that we need to vote on? Is that possible to move to any agenda items that we need to move on?
Discussion and appointment of next board chair and vice chair. We have to vote on that.
Okay.
So,
Does anybody have a problem with moving that up? They literally just asked me to go to the police department to deal with that other issue.
Fine.
If you guys are okay with that, I'm sorry.
No.
Because we're done with the financial and we're getting ready to start the occupancy report. And so if we can move to,
item 9A.
if you don't mind, anything that we have to vote on?
Is Ruben not present?
Yes, Ruben is present.
Okay.
Yes, Ruben is present.
So we'll go all the way to 9A, new business discussion of possible action items. Discussion and appointment of the next board chair and vice chair.
So your board chair term ends this month, as does Jennifer's for vice chair. So we need to discuss or go straight to vote, your choice, as a board, on electing chair and vice chair for the next year.
Do we need any discussion on that, or just want to go on and vote on it?
I had a question about, because Ruben's, I think we discussed this and voted on it last time, but we all wanted it to remain, Ruben as chair and Jen as vice chair. I remember us talking about that, but what happens if Ruben isn't, reappointed to the board?
By city council,
Yeah, by city council.
we would address it at that point, Keely.
Oh, okay, perfect. I was just making sure we didn't have to do anything now.
I don't think that we have to do anything now because there's nothing to do. Because city council doesn't, they have not notified me of an upcoming vote. And I shared with them that we as a board discussed and reappointed in our own board last month. So, and I've got nothing different from the city at this point. So I don't think there's anything else to do but proceed at this point.
Perfect. Sounds good. I would move to keep the officers the same if with Ruben as chair and Jen as vice chair.
Well, I think the question has to be, does Jen Lay want to stay vice chair? And does Ruben want to stay, yes, in his position? I think that's the first discussion. But thank you for that confidence.
You don't want to be just like anointed?
Nope, I'm good with that. Ruben, how do you feel?
I have no problem with it. Doing my duty, try to carry it out as best as I can. How do you feel about Jennifer?
I don't have a problem with it either. I just know that my availability is sometimes limited because of my job. And so I think if somebody else wants to take over the vice chair responsibility, then I think that would be a good move. Just saying.
So Ruben's been the chair for the second or the third term now?
I think it's third.
It's
This
the
week it's
third-
third.
the third term. And does the bylaws have any?
They do not have any term limits
Okay.
at all.
Jen, I don't wanna take it away from you, but I would be interested in a chair, vice chair position at some point, so if you're feeling like, you wanna stay on for a little bit, stay on longer, I would be supportive of that. If you're feeling like you don't, then I would be interested in the vice chair position.
I think that's a great idea. I don't need to do the vice chair. Hopefully I've been helpful at least a little bit
You have been very
when
helpful.
Ruben's not available, but I don't want there to come a time that Ruben's not available and for some reason I'm not available also. That makes it difficult for you, and I don't want to put you all in that predicament either. I think you need people that are accessible to you, and while I will try my darndest, that doesn't always happen.
But I don't know that it would happen, in all honesty, I don't know that it would happen with any of us, because life happens.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but you have been
Absolutely.
more than accommodating and very accessible and very helpful to me, so with
Well,
that
I
said,
remember you bringing checks to the animal shelter because I was doing I had to deal with something over there, and you're like, it's fine, I'll just bring him down there, and I was like, I will sign your life away.
Yes, and I'm happy to do that, but I would do that with any of the board. But you have been most accommodating and most helpful and very accessible, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you. So I think, what do you think?
That's up to the two of you. I'm comfortable with that. If you
Yeah,
are.
I don't have time to,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm overloaded.
yeah, same here.
So we need a motion to keep the same
So
officers.
Keely made that motion, but then I would counter that motion with saying that
Can she
Keely taking over the
volunteer that
vice chair
position?
responsibilities. I think it's been really helpful for me, learning more about this board, doing those,
Okay.
responsibilities when you're not able to. I think that helped me learn more about this, because I don't know if you all remember, but when I first got on this board, I was like super quiet, didn't know what the heck was going on. Now I feel much more confident in things, and it's because I had to spend more time with the executive director and learning everything, so that might be helpful for Keely.
And my only question to you, Keely, will you be able to be available?
So yeah, I definitely am always available remotely, and for the rest of the year, my plan is to be there in person. It's been kind of a weird schedule for me lately, but my plan is to be able to have the rest of the meetings for the rest of the year, be there in person. And then yeah, I just got back from the Housing Authority Conference with the team. And I feel like I'm kind of bright-eyed and bushy-tailed right now, so it would be, I think the timing could be good to take on a little bit more responsibility.
So, Keely, you will be able to attend the meeting then,
Yeah, I think I've attended
in
all of
person,
them.
not
But
via Zoom
in
or whatever.
person, yeah, I would like to be there in person. I would like to be available in person. And so the way I have it scheduled right now is for the rest of the year into January, I would be there in person.
Okay.
Melissa, can you ask her to take her off mute? She's on mute and you can disconnect.
You know, I've been always remote recently, so, you know, I'm not always the right person to say it, but yeah, I think that the board needs to have, it's better, the discussion's better when it's in person.
Keely, I have Hayden here, he's asking you to unmute yourself and test speakers, rather than through my cell.
Okay.
You're muted over here.
So we're muted, Hayden, top or bottom left.
We're not muted now.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Bingo. I'm gonna,
Can you hear us?
Yeah,
okay.
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to disconnect on my cell phone, Keely.
Oh, okay, great.
So then so Keely made the motion that it remains the
here
same.
early.
We have to let it, do we have to let that motion
Okay.
die, or how does that go?
Yes, because we'd have to reappoint or revote on what positions. You would have
It
to,
could, you seconded, no, you didn't.
No, nobody seconded,
Okay,
she just made the
It
motion.
could die for lack of action, and then
Okay.
somebody then can make another motion.
So then I'm gonna make the motion that, Ruben remain as chair and Keely be appointed as the vice chair.
okay, and you will step down.
Yeah.
Okay, I need a second on that.
I'll second.
Jen, that's my name, Jen.
Okay, I need a vote on it. Keely, are you okay with that?
Hayden, she can't hear again.
I need to acknowledge her.
Yes.
Do we have to vote on anything else besides this?
The rest is information. There's no other, vote. It's information only, and I can catch up with you.
That would be great.
Thank you for time that you work, the VP.
My pleasure. I actually did learn, because I know that you all remember when I first started, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
I think we all felt that way.
Yeah.
Thank you. Your tenure there, but you're not going to place, and you're still going to be here.
I'll be around. I'll be here.
Can you hear us now, Keely?
Is it her volume or is it ours? Is she muted? No, we're up.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Can you hear us now, Keely?
Okay,
Okay,
I can hear you.
okay, that's all we want.
Okay, just making sure that you heard where I made the motion that Ruben remain as chair and that you be appointed as the vice chair, and are you good with that?
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay,
I made that motion, Charlene seconded.
Now we-
Call for the vote.
okay, I need a vote.
Yes.
Dwayne,
Yes.
Charlene,
Yes.
Keely? We lost her again.
We lost her.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And that's all that we had for vote. And all again, no, you're good. Be safe, whatever it is you need to do. And you and I can connect over the next couple of days. Judy?
Real fast. All in favor for it?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So that's all we're doing.
Take care.
Bye, Jen.
Bye.
Bye.
Jen, take care. Be
Better
careful.
see you Tuesday.
Perfect.
Okay, so
We'll see you later.
that's the only one that we discuss right now?
Yes. And the rest is information purposes, discussion, but no vote is necessary. So going back to the occupancy report, we have changed up a little bit our occupancy report. So our occupancy report is immediately behind all of the financials in your packet. And so this is a discussion, we gave you background information to the occupancy report numbers, which we hadn't done. I've just been giving you numbers. And in discussion with our new programs coordinator, she said, I'm accustomed to providing backup information, and so I've shared that backup information with you. If you don't find it helpful, I won't continue to provide it. But if you do find it helpful, I will absolutely continue to provide it. So our public housing occupancy report, as of August 1st, our occupancy rate is 95%. We have 10 units vacant. and they are in varying stages of being repaired. We have had an asbestos, all of our units, as they become available, we are testing for nicotine and we are testing for asbestos. And the nicotine, we are required to, because of the new law change in Colorado, we now are required to test for nicotine to abate that, then to be able to certify that it has been abated, and then share those results with any tenant in that unit moving forward. Not to say that we haven't cleaned units in the past. We most definitely have cleaned units, but we have not abated for nicotine because we didn't know. And so now we know, we are now required to, and so we are doing that. And whether the current tenant or the most recent tenant smoked in the unit or not, likely someone in the past has. And so as part of, again, the new law change that took effect in Colorado for April 1st, we are now mandated that we have to do those things. And so as an extension of that, because of the age of the years that we built, this originally started with the 1311 Linden unit, where that was a HOR unit. It was also a rodent infestation and a bug infestation unit. We knew that we had to take that unit down to the studs, and because we were having to take it down to the studs, we were required to test for asbestos, and it tested positive. And again, it's due to the age of the buildings. And so we know, and talking with our engineer at HUD, he said, well, if you have one, you likely have more, and now that you know you have a problem, you're going to be compelled to test them. And so the 10 units that are offline or in the process of being taken offline are nicotine and asbestos, and they will then be remodernized and rehabbed. But I don't have the approval from HUD to take them offline yet, and so that is why they are still showing as vacant. If they were taken offline, that would not be reflected as vacant. They would be offline.
So we wouldn't get dinged on that part.
We won't, and I'm working with HUD to get those approvals. And once we get those approvals, it backdates to the date of the request. And also then when we have our inspection, which our REAC inspection has been scheduled, and that's, when I think about that, that should have been a late agenda item addition. Our REAC inspection is scheduled for September 19th and 20th. So that is where HUD themselves will come in and inspect the physical condition of our units. These units have to be offline by that time because they're not inspectable when they are offline. So, and I'm working diligently with HUD. So, we have a wait list. We have a wait list of 2 folks on the wait list for efficiency apartments, 46 folks on the wait list for 1 bedroom, 24 on the wait list for 2 bedrooms, 21 for 3 bedrooms, and 7 folks for 4 bedrooms. So we have a very healthy wait list going on right now. So again, the several pages behind that occupancy report for public housing, you have that backup. And again, if you don't find this interesting or helpful, I'm happy to either keep giving it to you if you would like to see it. If you don't want to see it, I'm happy to not provide it. That is your call as board members. Section 8, again, we have 40 units leased as of the end of July out of 87 vouchers. We have 2 new admins. We have no unit transfers, and we have 2 vouchers that have been awarded that are not yet housed. And Section 8, we give the voucher, we do not help them find a place to live. That is up to that voucher holder on their own. So again, we have 87 vouchers, 40 leased. And we have a wait list for Section 8 or Housing Choice Voucher of 13 folks. Corzon Square, we have 47 units occupied, we have 3 vacant units, and 12 folks on the waiting list for Corzon Square. And the same holds true for Corzon Square. We are required to test for nicotine and to abate for nicotine, and just like on the public housing side previously, we did allow smoking in the units. And we allowed smoking in the units until 2016 into 2018 by the time we were notified and then implemented it fully. And again, we were cleaning units, but we weren't cleaning and removing nicotine because we didn't, it wasn't a requirement, and we did not have the technology to do the testing, nor did we necessarily have the technology to clean for that. So,
And we can't go back on what was allowed.
previously, correct.
A quick question, just for personal information. The nicotine testing and the other testing, that is Colorado law?
The nicotine requirement is just Colorado.
Law, and that
Yes.
was enacted when?
April 1 of this
This
year.
year?
Mhm, April 1, 2024.
Okay, and then the other?
And the asbestos was a
Right.
discussion with HUD when we knew that we had to gut the 1311 Linden unit.
Okay, all right.
And then the last page in your housing occupancy report section of your packet is Corzon Square debt to EID. We had one person that recently moved out of Corzon Square and left damages behind in the amount of $1,369.15. And we are still working on, we do not have a resolution to write that debt off yet because we have not yet finished internally or administratively what we need to do to write that resolution. So expect to see that resolution for this person in the next board meeting.
Okay. Are you still with us, Keelan?
I am with you,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Just making sure.
just quietly listening.
Okay,
Going back to that nicotine, does that apply to all rental properties in the state of Colorado? So anyone that's got a rental property, when it's vacated, they need to do this, whether or not the person was smoking or not smoking, or that it's a non-smoking facility, or I mean unit? Is it?
Has it always been, so it was explained to me when I questioned this, has it always been a non-smoking unit? Well, for us, we couldn't honestly
Right.
say that it has been because it wasn't.
Mhm.
So, and in the conversation with HUD specifically, when I got the notification that we had this law change, and I called HUD and I said, what am I supposed to do other than follow? And so there was some discussion. I've also talked with a couple other housing directors that are in kind of the same pickle, I guess, for lack of a better term, doing that we are, because we all allowed smoking. And if we can't say we have never allowed smoking, only if we could have said that, would that have eliminated the need
That
to
kind of answer. I'm
test.
just curious.
Yeah.
How it applies to the general.
for the general rental
Yeah,
population?
to the general, rental population.
okay, on the correspondence now.
Yes, Secretary's report correspondence. So you have a couple of letters. The first one in your packet is our CMAP score. And our CMAP score came up significantly from what it was last year. We got 5 points in the right direction. Our issue is still our lease up. Our lease up is beyond our control, and it is available inventory in the local community. And until our available inventory that is affordable for Section 8 folks improves, this is an area that we will continue to be limited by. And HUD, as I shared previously, HUD goes on a 5-year look-back period. And so 5-year look-back period was prior to the pandemic, and it's through the pandemic that our rental rates skyrocketed locally, but so did our resale of property are also kind of shot up during the pandemic. So our lease up is what our limiting factor is. And our deconcentration bonus is a 0, but it does not apply. It does not apply to our agency. So we are working diligently, but again, our lease up is our limiting factor. And I give you the copy of last year's CMAP score, just as a comparison. And the one change from last year was our payment standards. So we've improved payment standards, and I do expect that moving forward, we will continue to improve. And then Jordan, who is our engineer from HUD, will be visiting on the 28th of August. He says the week of the 26th, but he will be on site again on the 28th for an all-day visit for us, and will be on site likely at least quarterly as we work to improve all of our scores. And so you can see his letter of invitation. And if you would like to meet him or meet with him, let me know. He has set aside some time while he is here to interface with board members. If any of you would like to meet him or chat with him, visit with him, let me know and I will connect you. I'll be happy to connect with you. Again, it's HUD's wants us to have Zoom meeting links so that they can come in and out as they wish, and recording. So this is documentation and information after last month's request. Again, it's an email. Board meetings must be scheduled and conducted in accordance with the State Open Meetings Act law. And I don't want to read all of this to you guys, but you have all of HUD's policy, their suggestion for our policy, and the state law on Open Meetings Act. So you have all of that.
Thank you for the follow-up on that. And if I can, I'd like to have you, I won't take up meeting time during the regular meeting, but I'd like to stay afterwards or make arrangements with you to come in, because even though I got this, yesterday, I didn't have a chance to look at it in fine detail, and it wasn't Word document, so I wasn't able to go and do word searches to find certain words, and I didn't have the converter on my computer that I use. But I'd like you to show me where HUD requires it.
I don't see
And
that.
and in an open meeting law, I'd like for you to show me where it requires. I know that recording of proceedings, okay, but that could be minutes or whatever. And I took it last week, last meeting, this was a mandate from HUD. This looks to me that it was more of an administrative decision versus, because it was never brought to the board, for, approval. And so I'm not necessarily opposed to it, but I like to know, just like when I asked about the nicotine, I'm very inquisitive, and so I'd like to know show me, in black and white, where HUD requires it, and
Where they
then,
require us to record
well,
or
the record, and if they want to join a meeting, then they can make arrangements, and then we can do that. But I'd just like to know how this, because this seemed to me to be more administrative, because this was not brought to the board beforehand. And so I won't take up time here,
Okay.
but after the meeting, I'd like to,
And
take
I
your
can't
minutes and show me.
tonight, Dwayne, but I will make calendar availability to say here's.
Or make it easy on me and you, if you could pull the rules and regulations, put them in, and highlight them.
Okay.
Redline them, so when I go through there, It's easy for me to find, and then I will get with you on setting up, a time, to come in and/or talk to you on phone or whatever, on this.
And I did go through the information you sent, and I didn't see anything that specifically mandated that they be recorded. I mean, other than minutes and that type of thing, but nothing that mandates actual video and audio recording.
Okay, and I will pull rules and regs, and I will get with, and
It
if,
should be in here, and I mean, I might have missed them, but I looked through it.
and when I went back to HUD, between HUD and the state, this is what I could pull.
The state has the sunshine law, that's
Right.
very clear.
Yeah, but anyway, I won't take up any, but one other thing you said that you were gonna send out the Zoom links, and I looked to see, because I didn't know if I was gonna be able to make the meeting today in person because of the out-of-town meetings.
Right.
And I did not receive the Zoom link.
And that was my issue this afternoon, Dwayne. It was very close, and I was running payables today, and I had every intention of getting the Zoom link done yesterday. I did not, and that is on me,
Okay.
straight up, it
All
is
right,
on
and
me.
then I'd like to request that when you send out the notice of the meeting, usually a week or two ahead, if you could put that link in there, because
Sure.
my phone doesn't, I've got a limited archive on my phone of emails. I dump them after about 10 days.
Okay. I will be happy to just, as a normal, when I send the invite, put that link in there.
All right.
Can we go see them? Or
We have done all of that, so we're on 8. So old business, HUD still has and has not, shared their decision on 1306 and 1308 carbon on the ability to move to the next step in the disposition process. So they still have that signed HUD Part 58. And there's no action to be taken at this point because they haven't let us know anything. So it's still being reviewed.
So we could just table this act till HUD lets us know.
So HUD lets us know what our next step is and what if they're gonna require anything further, or we can just go to disposition. And item B, 8B, our offer of 4,000 was denied by MRI Software. In talking with our attorney, he suggests increasing our offer to 6,000 and see if they will accept that. And I said, well, what if they don't? And he said, let's have that discussion, that you guys need to either agree to raise your offer or don't agree, because what our decision is then drives what his next step is.
This one was on that $14,000, right?
Correct, yes.
When does he need an answer then?
The sooner the better, because we are incurring interest every month on this bill.
This is over a period of what? 10
It was software that we previously used that we ceased using in 2020, when we bought the software that we are now using.
Okay, so it's been 4 years that we have not used
That we
this.
have not used it at all.
We never could actually find a contract
That was legitimate in my opinion, yes. Because it was an original contract that Ms. Daltrey had signed years and years before.
and they don't have a contract, a later contract either.
No. No. So there was no contract updates, there was absolutely nothing.
So in all reality, there is no contract between us.
There's a contract that we signed that said we're going to purchase and we're gonna pay this annual fee and we're gonna pay this monthly fee, and here's what you agree to do and here's what we agree to do. It was never updated from the time that Helen signed it until we ceased using it in 2020 when we bought new software.
And so Helen signed this back in the early teens,
Yes,
thereabouts? I mean,
yes. Yes.
and who's our attorney?
John Finger up in Pueblo.
So what's an attorney gonna cost us per hour for litigation?
$300 an hour.
How many hours have we only used, don't you know?
On this case, total about an hour so far. We're using him a lot more in, with tenant cases and those types of things, but this specific case has been about an hour total so far.
What can we charge this to?
It's just charged off to public housing attorney fees.
I mean, the amount, the 6,000, what is that going to be billed to?
That would be billed to public housing.
I don't know, I've got mixed feelings on it, you know, I truly do. You know,
Agreed.
I had a hard time with the 4,000,
Mhm.
you know, and, you know, they're out of Ohio, we're in Trinidad, Colorado, you know, I just assume go to Fort in Trinidad, Colorado, I think, you know, but, you know, one's gotta be reasonable too, so.
Well, I have a problem with the whole thing, even like you said,
Right,
right?
yeah.
The $4,000, I think, well, I'll leave my own personal. But they're just, they're playing this game and see if we can get money out of us.
Yeah, I mean, none of us were there, you know, I wasn't on the board in 2020, you know, thereabouts. You know, definitely wasn't on the board when Helen signed it. I don't know.
My deal is, they should have a written contract to back it up. And they're, as you said, Miss Melissa, they don't have a contract, just what Miss Veltri had.
Initially signed, yes.
But it's never been updated or,
There's been no memorandum of understandings, there have been no amendments, there have been nothing. And I had requested that. They're impossible to, they will not respond, whether it's email or whether it's telephone to me. But what I finally got was the contract, because I said, I'm not going to pay until I see a contract. So what they sent, and I sent back, what else, where's an amendment? Where is a memorandum of understanding? Where is all of that? And they don't have it. So what they have is the original contract that Helen signed way back in the early teens.
So the worst that can happen is we get turned over to collection?
That's where their attorney, they've already turned us over to collections. And so their attorney, is now dealing with our attorney because he was less than responsive to me. He just said, basically, you owe the bill, just pay it and get it off my desk. Well, just because somebody tells me that I owe a bill, you prove to me that I owe it. I wasn't here in 2020, so I don't know what the conversation was. I don't know what the decision was. But in talking with both Tanya and Lucy, they said they knew we were getting rid of their software and we were on a deadline to get a whole bunch of things done when we purchased the new software. There's none of that through email or through any kind of written communication that I can look at.
what's our attorney saying? More or less pay it, that's what he's saying?
He hasn't said that language, but he did, in talking with him last week about this, he said, how much do you want to invest in this, or do you want to settle? And that's when I said, 4,000 wasn't accepted on their end, that was our initial offer, because that was basically what less interest and penalties, what the invoice was at point of separation. And the 14,000 is now close to 15,000 is interest and penalties for 4 years. And he basically said, I will take my lead from you guys, but how much do you want to drag this out? And if we say, you need to come to Colorado and sue us in court, we can do that, and he will be happy to represent, or we make an offer and they accept it and we write a check and we're done. Or they don't like $6,000 and they come back and say, we're not going to accept that. This is my own personal recommendation, this does not come from the attorney. We offer $6,000, see if they'll settle and get it done. If they don't, then I wouldn't offer them another dime. That's what personally I would do.
Well, I'm not comfortable with even sending 4,000, but that's, and I think the rest of the board feels the same way. It needs to be settled soon,
Yes.
because it just keeps accumulating more money, whether, and I can't believe it, but our attorney ought to ask them, what would they really settle for? Show it to us, what they want to settle. We're throwing money out there and they're not accepting it. They're trying to bait us, is what they're doing.
Agreed, but they will not give us an amount, because when we said 4,000 and they said, nope, we're not gonna accept that, it's not a legitimate offer, we need to come to a legitimate offer. I said, okay, so what is a legitimate offer? And John Finger called me back several days later and he said, they're not going to give us that. So
So, since this is a legal issue, is it something we can go into executive session on? I got some things, I got some issues.
we can't go into
But I really
executive,
don't want to do them on open mic.
we can't do executive session because it's not on the agenda. We can
Okay,
schedule an
then
executive session.
I will vote, I will move to table it until the next meeting.
Okay. And do you want me to have John available at the next meeting as well? I will be happy to ask him if
And
he
John is
our attorney, yes.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, put it on the agenda, somewhere we can do it right away, so he's not waiting. We have
Okay.
a definitive time.
Okay. So during motion to table, we need a second.
Keely, do you want to second that motion?
Yeah, so was the motion to kick it to the next meeting?
Yes, where we will schedule an executive session and we will have John Finger, our attorney, on availability to answer any questions, address any issues, those types of things.
Do we feel like we have, do we feel like we need to expedite it ahead of next meeting, or will next meeting suffice to do that?
It's been going on for 4 years already. What's one more month? That's my own opinion. I should have probably said that, but
No, as long as there's like not an urgency in the next month, I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll table it until our next meeting. Okay, let's go on C.
there's nothing to, it's information, it's old business. We meet on Friday as staff to go through any of the ACOP, which is our continued occupancy policy, where these things will come into play. So this is just, I think we need to table this until next meeting as well.
I need a motion to table the, C,
And
B and, what?
the C
We already-
and D.
Huh?
C
And D.
and D, because it's interrelated.
Okay,
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
The discussion, we haven't actually approved this yet?
No, no, we have not shown. Nope.
so,
You need a motion to table C and D.
okay.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Keely? Favorite?
Yes.
And in essence of time, we have also tabled item E and item F, which was this land issue. Item G is for information purposes only. Those are those are units that I have already requested HUD allow us to take out of inventory, and I'm waiting on their decision. So there's no action necessary. I'm waiting on a decision from HUD.
Okay, this is a pro.
On G, 1212 San Luis, 915 Baltimore, and Unit 1 awaiting for some sort. So there are 3 units out under G, so it's G, those 3 units, and again, we're waiting.
Okay, H.
No action needed at this time. What we had talked about, strategic planning, training, those types of things. We talked about it last month, it's just moving forward. So 9A.
Just table.
No, 9A was already
Oh,
decided.
Can I ask this a question?
Yes.
This is for the chair and the vice chair. Do the bylaws, do we have a treasurer or secretary according to the bylaws?
I'm your secretary according to bylaws.
Okay.
Treasurer, I would have to go look at that, because off the top of my head, I don't know.
Okay, normally you'll have it combined, and I was just going, do we need to address that? So you might want to look at that.
I'll look, yes. I'll look at the bylaws on
Yeah, because I'm thinking that.
any
that you do,
amendments.
That you do, and, and you can be the secretary, but yeah, take a look at the secretary, because you could be, to see the definition.
I'll be happy to look at that. And then 9A we had already addressed before Jim left.
Okay, so now, okay, let's go to 9, a new business on 9B. Update on Elrod, communication in Cleveland.
So we went to Cleveland for Nelrod's convention. Keely went as a new board member. Kathy went. I'm trying to think who all went. Sarah and Keith as housing specialists went, and on maintenance was Randy and Rich. And as maintenance staff, they had not been able to go to Las Vegas. They held down the fort while everybody was in Las Vegas, and so they went and got training, and then I also went. So I thought it was very helpful. I thought it was very educational. I have heard nothing but positive comments from staff on the training, on the information, and for maintenance and housing specialists. It is new rules that HUD is rolling out on how rents have to be calculated, and then on the maintenance side, what we will be scored on moving forward. So historically on the maintenance side, for REACT scores, we've been scored on the curb appeal and the external condition of our units. HUD has flipped that, and now they are going to be scoring very heavily on the internal condition of units, not quite so concerned with external. So, and then again, on the housing specialist side, it's how rent calculations now have to occur, and some other rule changes. And then I think Keely wanted to say a couple of words on her things that she learned and her high points as well. So.
Go ahead.
So the conference was organized into kind of like 3 different buckets. There was the maintenance modules, then there was the admin modules, and then there was the executive director commissioner modules. And so Melissa and I attended all of those sessions that were for the ED and the commissioners. And I would say in that room, like probably 80% of the people in that room were commissioners. And I would say of the people in that room, they were all smaller housing authorities. So a lot of the questions that people were asking were really tailored to situations like ours. I learned a lot about the HUD processes and like what to look at in terms of the reportings. I mean, even just simple things like the names of the reportings, or like the ACOP, the ACOP reports, understanding those policies. And I just think that it prepares me to be a better participant as a commissioner, but also just in general, a liaison to the board. And it was funny because when I got back this morning, I actually got a call from council member Manny Trujillo, and he started asking me about a lot of questions about the board, and I felt like I was much more prepared fielding those questions since I had just gotten off of this conference. So in general, I loved it, and if anybody hasn't gone to one of the NELROC conferences yet as a commissioner, I would highly recommend it because I feel like it'll unlock a new part of your brain. Yeah.
So let's go down to C.
So aggression and violence and zero tolerance policy. So you have this in your packet. We have had several tenants that have threatened staff with physical violence when they are angry, when they are frustrated, and in talking with other housing directors, talking with our attorney, and talking with our HUD folks, this handout, rude behavior and aggression and violence, including verbal threats of violence, are unacceptable and will not be tolerated. Our attorney has viewed this and has signed off on it. HUD has viewed it and signed off on it. And from a safety of staff perspective, I feel very strongly that we do need to have this and have it posted, and to share with our tenants that threatening to kill somebody or threatening to beat somebody up or threatening to take out someone's child because they are angry is not allowed. It is not appropriate and it is not allowed.
No, I agree. I do have a question. It's like with everything, there's appeals and everything else, and you can appeal a decision. Is there an appeal that goes with this?
Yes.
And who is the I didn't read it. Who's the arbitrating, or who would
So
that body be?
if they wanted to appeal, they would have to come through our office and I would bring it to the board. And then we would likely give them the opportunity to appeal their case and their side. But we would be, at that point, the deciding.
I'm just curious.
I have a question too, and I know it's a very tricky situation to be in. But with all the trauma-informed care that is out there now, and with Housing First, I don't feel that HUD would approve this. So
Yvonne Pyre is who our primary contact is, and her email saying, yes, you are allowed to post, is in your packet. And she has seen it. It went through, my understanding is it went through their legal, and they are in support.
I'm surprised, but I will check with her.
Absolutely. And her contact information,
Yeah,
should be
Right.
is on your email.
Well, I agree that there's no place for,
Right,
you know,
yeah.
for this type of behavior.
No.
That's why I asked about the appeal, you know, and everything else, you know, because,
And prior to me getting here, we had an employee that is still an employee that was physically attacked by a tenant in Corazon Square. And I have not seen the video, I inherited knowledge of the case, and our employee is up against the wall with his hands up and he is being severely beaten. And chose to, as reported to me, chose not to file charges. And that is painful. He is still a valued employee, but to have a tenant feel necessary to beat the supreme stuff out of another human being as an employee who was simply doing their job is unacceptable.
Correct. I mean, no one is arguing that point.
So our intent is to post this in our lobby, and then also add it as an addendum item to leases and those types of things, so that that tenants are, advised and aware that their behavior, we do not need to be on the receiving end of somebody being out of control.
So you'll put this here at the office?
Here in our front lobby, it will be posted at Corazon Square, in the office public area there as well. And then we will be introducing this as an addendum to their lease when they sign their lease as a new tenant, and then on their recertification as that process goes forward. And likely, when they get lease violations, this will be included in that lease violation as a reminder that this is not going to be tolerated.
Okay. I was gonna say something about, or suggest to even send all the tenants a copy of this.
And we will, but not every month. We
No, no,
will,
just
with their
once.
statement, with their upcoming statement, we will just give it as an enclosure in their statement so that they have it.
How do you feel about that, Dwayne?
I'm just, you know, I'm concerned about the appeal.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about the definitions, you know, of, you know, the thresholds, you know, and everything. I mean, I can't condone any of it. I'm just taking a look at, you know, you know, Charlene, she has more knowledge than I do about, you know, some of these things, but it's just, I don't know, I don't know what's talking.
Okay. I just want the rest of the board's opinion here, because this is not right. Okay, D.
So we will be adding more units to our list, to ask HUD to be able to take offline on 1216 East 7th. This was another hoard situation. Maintenance staff took 5 dump trailer loads of personal belongings that were left behind in the landfill. This also unit has tested positive for nicotine unit use, and will have to be remediated. I have also requested that unit be tested by our biohazard company for drug use. That has not been done yet. It is scheduled, and it was scheduled, it also has been tested for asbestos and tested positive. So that will be another unit that will have to be remediated for asbestos. And as part of that, of course, we will gut to the studs, and as well as take floor covering off and completely revamp. And as part of that modernization process, we will revamp, of course, electrical and plumbing as well. 812 Smith was a nicotine infested unit. Again, we have to mitigate, and it is also another asbestos unit. And again, as that process is completed, we will be updating plumbing, electrical, HVAC systems, insulation, drywall, floor coverings, and remodel kitchens and bathrooms. On 1211 Linden, this unit, the tenant moved with absolutely no notice to us. Unit was tested for nicotine, tested positive. It was also tested for asbestos, and that one was the same thing. It tested positive, and so that one will be rehabbed as well.
When are these units built if they're still testing positive for asbestos?
All of our units, we finished, our newest building was built in 1983, which is Corazon Square. All of our public housing units were built in the 60s and 70s.
And surely they've been tested before this.
And talking with Robert, he says no, and he's been here 30 years. He said, we've never tested for asbestos. He said, we've tested for lead paint and we've mitigated that. That was 10 to 12 years ago. But he says, and I asked Rich Pacelli, who's also been here for years and years, and he said, not to my knowledge, we've never tested.
So is the asbestos, the tile?
Yeah.
Is that where it is?
It's in several places. It's in the bathroom, so it's in wall boards in
Okay.
bathrooms, wall boards in kitchens. And then flooring, and also the glue, that is used to, whether it's gluing down carpet or gluing down tile.
And that's never been required before. Do you remember?
Huh?
Do you remember us discussing this before about the asbestos? I mean, it's crazy that we're still dealing with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's so unhealthy. I mean, gosh.
Correct. Correct. And asbestos, if it's left alone and it's not disturbed, it's okay, but it's when you disturb it, and asbestos becomes a health hazard when it's becomes airborne, because then we breathe it and it settles in the lungs.
But you figure all the maintenance people that are in here, yeah, that's.
Yes. Corazon Square, Unit 104, tenant was evicted for smoking and drug use. It will also have to be cleaned by the biohazard company. We knew that he was a marijuana user, and we suspected illicit street drug use. We also know that he was a smoker in that unit. Test results are not yet back for illicit drug use. And so once we get those, that will kind of dictate what our next step is and what we have to mitigate in there. And that is also to be requested to be taken offline through HUD.
So the newest one is Corazon Square.
Yes, and Corazon Square was completed in 1983. And that's our newest building. Our oldest building was built in 1961 on the public housing side.
Our maintenance staff, in my 12-year span, asbestos tiles are 9 by 9.
Correct.
The newer tiles are 12 by 12.
Correct.
So they should know when they walk in, say to the kitchen floor. We can't tell what's behind the walls and stuff like that. If that kitchen floor, they should say, okay, this is a 9 by 9. We already know it's an asbestos tile.
And but your glue is also your issue.
Yeah.
So yes, it should be known, whether it's a 9 by 9 or 12 by 12. But we also have replaced 9 by 9 tiles because we have them in inventory throughout
Yeah.
years.
Okay. Okay. Who's ever doing that down to check and see right away, that way it gives us a heads up of what to expect for the flooring, the glue. If the floor, the tile is asbestos, you know that the glue is asbestos too.
Yes.
So
Yes.
gives us a heads up on it.
Yep.
Okay, and that's all you got on the,
And that's all I have on that, so we're ready for item 10.
okay. Proposed resolution and action. The following action items are slated for the review and approval. Number 1074, action.
1076? 1076?
No, I don't know what I was thinking, 74. Excuse me on that one.
Okay.
1076, permission to charge off bad debt.
So this is permission to charge off bad debts. This is a public housing tenant that we evicted and ended up going to court because she refused to do what she needed to do, and we have a judgment against her in the amount of $19,307. She left a hoard situation. She also was a drug unit. And our maintenance staff, she did not move any of her personal things out. She simply walked away. And so our maintenance staff had to, first and foremost, move a hoard unit out to the street. And then we had to have it tested. As we were moving her out, we found multiple drug paraphernalia. And so we had it tested, and she tested positive, her unit tested positive for methamphetamine use, among other things. And so $11,800 of this and $19,207 is the mitigation of the methamphetamine itself.
A lot of money.
It is a tremendous amount of money.
And probably no hope of ever recovering it.
I know.
Wayne, how do you feel about it?
Oh,
We have no
I mean,
choice.
I just don't. When did this charge occur? I mean, you went to court, when did you go to court?
We went to court in June.
Okay, so June, and we're sitting in August, so we're writing these things off and just like the next day almost.
Very
And,
quickly.
and is that because the auditor is suggesting we do that? I mean, or did we wait until the end of the year and do this? You know, unlike Charlene, I mean, I'm not sure we're ever gonna get it, or we're writing them off pretty quick.
We have turned her over to a collection agency, that's part of the process, but
Okay.
we don't want this sitting on the books. And I've not had that conversation with our auditor.
Okay, but how is it going to affect the books? I know it's gonna affect, you know, but I don't know, writing them off, I mean, like, the next day, you know, is pretty quick. You know, especially if they're turned over to a collection agency or something. I'm not suggesting they need to sit there for, you know, years, but to write them off, you know, 30 days later.
Part of that process is closing them out and reporting to HUD. And so that
Okay.
also comes into this.
All right.
So we can't leave them open-ended in the HUD reporting system as well.
Right.
So,
Well, I know that, I've heard with Ron, or Robin, you know, suggesting that we do it now. So-
Another question,
So
sorry.
just, do we ever get anything when we turn them over to a collection agency? Like, if we take a look at the last 2 years of, you know, the volume, the dollar volume we turned over to a collection agency versus the dollar volume we recovered?
we, prior to contracting with the collection agency that we're working with now, there was a significant period of time where we didn't turn anything over to a collection agency, so nothing was recovered.
Because for years I've been suggesting they turn them over to a collection agency. For years I was told that we were turning them over to a collection agency, then to hear you say now that we weren't turning them over to a collection agency.
For 3 or 4 years,
Yeah.
I don't think we were, we are now, this has been certainly turned
Well,
over. Will we recover this one? I don't think that we'll
Right.
recover anything.
No,
She doesn't work,
I agree. I'm just frustrated that, you know, I'm told one thing, then, you know, at some point in the future, you find out that what you're told is not truthful. And I really like to be told the truth straight up on front, you know,
absolutely.
versus, you know, because,
And so our agency now is online services and they are based in Colorado. But we've only been working with them for a few months, Dwayne. And so
And how often do our inspections take place?
annually,
We do a lot of damage in a year.
you can do an incredible amount of damage in here. And internally, we're required to do our own annual inspections, readying for our re-app inspections. And our re-app inspections are scheduled from September 19th, Thursday and Friday the 19th and 20th. And I don't think that we'll have immediate results. I hope we do, but I don't know the results.
Right off the bad debt.
also.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay. Commissioner Thomas Keeley, do you have anything to say?
Do I have anything else? No. I'm excited to see y'all next month. I do have it scheduled to be there in person, so I'm looking forward to that.
Good. Really appreciate that you showing up in person. Dwayne?
No.
Charlene? Okay. Motion to adjourn?
Do we need a motion to adjourn? I think that we don't need to approve it, but I move to adjourn.
Okay. Need a second? Keely, you want to second that?
Second,
Okay,
second.
okay. All approved?
Okay.
Aye.
Okay, thank you,
Well, you got
Keely.
you out before 6, Charlene.
Thank you.
You bet, thank you.
Who we hired for the position?
I'm sorry,
Who we hired for the position?
for which
That
position?
you
The accounting position, we haven't hired yet.